It's going to be a toasty one in Sedona today, 96 degrees. It's apparently setting heat records. So I've done Keyhole Cave before, which you can actually see from here, but then I'm going to get on top of that thing, go off trail up the ridge. That's called Witch's Mountain. And then on the way back, I think I'm going to bag this little thing called Sugarloaf. All right, so the cave's right here, going up steeply like 300 or 400 feet. But that's gonna be the gully, so I'm scouting it out now. We're gonna try to hug that cliff face and go straight up that gully to this ridge, which will lead us up to Witches unseen at this point. All right, so we're at the mouth of the cave. I think before I climbed up right here, which is a little more class 3, but this crack looks easy, and then this also looks easy, so I don't think it really matters where you get up. So let's just take a different route up. Bird crap everywhere. I don't think there's anyone here. Probably. I guess it gets class 3 over here too. But very easy. Nice footholds slash steps. And we're up. Let's get you the full Keyhole Cave experience. Here it is. So anyway, check out the other video if you want a little bit more footage, but I'm gonna drop down and then go up this gully. All right, so I just wrapped out of the cave. The beta I have says probably try to hug this cliff face, but I think this is gonna be a mess no matter what. So I think these pants were definitely a good call. And look, you can sort of see, like you can sort of push this stuff out of the way. Now we have holly, one of my nemesis. Holly, cholla, cows. I'm trying to think what else. Mud. Those are probably my 4 main nemesis that I mention the most in hiking videos. And now there's a prickly pear blocking the trail. So anyway, this is gonna be slow going, but we'll make it, I think. All right, so we've ascended like 100 feet pretty steeply, and unfortunately I ascended too much and now I have to drop. So all right, I've made it through some of this brush. That green stuff is really sharp. I don't like it, but it's starting to open up. It's still steep and loose, but as Stav mentioned, it's a little more open terrain, at least, where you don't feel like you're bushwhacking quite as much. Until right now, there's probably all sorts of snakes hiding. So far, this is going about as well as it could. So it looks like just keep going up and bending right, I think. There's got to be snakes everywhere down here. All right, so when you bend around, I started to go up on that brushy slope. You want to stay closer to the drainage, I think. It just looks a little cleaner. My buddy Ryan's running a race today, so I'm gonna look at the tracker a little bit later. But he would have been going now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours at this point. So we're getting somewhere, I think. All right. Well, that was definitely steep and loose, but I think we're about to to gain the ridge here. Super steep gully. I think it's still going to be steep, but apparently it's going to get slightly better now, I think. So these green things, ow, even just barely touching them, they kind of hurt. So yeah, we've more or less gained the ridge, but it's still up. It looks like maybe we want to bend this way. So on the ridge now of Witch's Mountain, with a great view of this wall of Capitol Butte, I guess like the east wall. All right, we just had a little class 2+ section, and there's going to be your summit, still looming pretty high above. But at least we got line of sight now. So soon after our little knife edge, you hit what looks to be a vertical cliff band. So the potential might be here to drop to the left, or you might actually go up to the right. I'm going to check Sta's photos because this might have been where you wrapped around to the left. All right, I didn't actually consult Stav's pictures, but that could have been the place. It did work to drop lower left and then regain the ridge here. I might experiment. There might be a way down on the other side. Unsure, but pretty steep loose gullies and sand and whatnot and branches to navigate. So not completely trivial. So we're just gonna continue up. Not sure what the best route's gonna be, but I think we'll be able to figure it out here. We just had to drop slightly to a notch, but now I think it's gonna be all up. And if it's just this type of white rock, it shouldn't be too bad. That's a manzanita. Yeah, very steep. That's okay though. So just gonna follow the ridge unless it forces us off of it. So watch out for cactus. Yeah, I don't know how we're getting around this thing. Now we've hit like sort of a mini class 3 section kind of. Not sure if we need to go up this. We can wrap around, but we're gonna go up it for now, see where it takes us. Same thing, it's like, do we keep going up? Unsure. You gotta be careful, some of these ledges will break. I'm actually trying to be cognizant of snakes hiding in any of these places I'm stepping or placing my hands. Yeah, we can get up here. Yeah, we don't want to fall off to the side. So either we get up this crack or this crack. And I'm thinking this crack. Oh, I should have checked for snakes there. This crack looks fine to me. Not the most gracious mount. There's a ribbon. There's these pink ribbons, so I think that's a good sign. So there's some little ups and downs where I climbed up on stuff and then just had to climb straight down. Not a lot, 10 feet or so. Here's another cairn. So we're just going straight up now. It's probably, ow, 150 feet left. There's cactus everywhere. Steep class 2 for sure. Another cairn. So unsure if we go left or probably up this crack. Could go right, I don't know. We'll feel it out, but we should be on the summit now in like 5 minutes or so, I think. All right, I think we made it. Witch's Mountain. That was steep, especially the last part, all sandy coming up. Whew. Yeah, not light work at all. Wear pants for that if you do it. And preferably don't do it when it's 90 degrees. But yeah, there's some breeze up here, which is nice. So great views all around, for sure. It's Wilson Mountain there. I guess you're seeing the high point there. I think that's up to where the A.B. Young Trail goes, one of those plateaus. And that is Bear Mountain, I think. Yeah, and there's Capitol Butte. And this little class 2 plus crack that before at the base of the final summit push, very loose rock. I knocked a bunch of big rocks down, both going up and down. So be careful both ways, especially if you're with someone else, that you're not knocking big rocks down on people, because definitely could happen. So I'm down about the first 150 feet or so here. As with anything like this, make sure you take a mental note or a picture of the gully to get down, because you'd be tempted to cut off the ridge sooner sometimes, and I almost did. I kept going just because I was studying it to some extent, so always look back. So this is going to be, I believe, so I'm still not sure if it's this one on the left or I have to go up and over this. So I'm pretty sure it's this one because I noted these two big dead trees. Whoa, that's about to slide off. And now I'm not even sure how to get down. Did I come up over here? I honestly don't even remember. Yeah, looks like I could get down here. I don't think I came, I think I came up the left maybe. So this is actually, even though I just did it, 40 minutes ago, I don't even remember where or how exactly I climbed up. It was not here, I can tell you that. This would have been a pretty big vertical section. But see, I just put my hand on that cactus. Yeah, so just to show you, I was basically wrong. I was gonna start cutting down that way, which might have shortcut things. But yeah, so I wrapped around to the left on the way there. I went down a crack on the right on the way up. So there's all sorts of different ways, or on the way back, all sorts of different ways to do things, to skin a cat. So I think once I drop off this hump, then I am going down the gully. And I remember being sort of close to some edges, so this kind of at least rings a bell for me. But everything starts to look the same, You go up and over the same type formations. Here's a little cairn here, so good sign. All right, so we've hit, I think, what was the first cairn I saw coming up. And there is a red ribbon. So that's always a good sign, I guess, when you have red ribbons, which I've never really seen before out here. So I think this is about to be, it's not very clear. I was gonna say where we start branching down. This is kind of where I thought I had first gained the ridge, but now it's like not clear at all. I think I wanna pop down here. All right, I was still cutting down way too soon. If you start cutting down way too soon, eventually you're just gonna hit a big vertical cliff. So I recognized it pretty quickly before the cliff, and there is a cairn here where you pop up. Is this exactly where I popped up? Unsure, but I guess I'm gonna head down this way. Yeah, I don't know if this is the way I came up at all, to be honest, but looks like it might work. Or like I said, you could potentially go to, I don't know, there's other forks of this drainage coming. Okay, so update. Clearly I've been a little confused here trying to figure out the way to went down. I am not where I went down before. I'm just gonna attempt to get to this main drainage and follow it out, but it's easier said than done, let's put it that way. I'm kind of like contouring over in some places, just trying to find the best way down, but it's not easy. So like I was saying in the video earlier, try to mentally note or mark or have a map or something, or you know, if you're recording on Strava or whatever, you'll be able to figure this out a little better. Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna get down this drainage and literally just follow it out for quite a while, and then eventually maybe cut across the terrain to get back to the main trail below the cave. But yeah, that plant pricked me and it hurt. So not fun. Yeah, I was just trying to avoid this cliff, but now I'm getting hollied out here, so to speak. So we're gonna have to step through some holly, which I think will be fine, and avoid getting pricked by another one of these guys. These guys hurt if you've ever run into these, which inevitably you have. If you hike in the desert or in the Southwest, anywhere, if you run into one of those points hard, it hurts a lot. Okay, so we're almost down, I think, safely to the main drainage, which I did not come up, mind you. But like I said, another potential way down here. And this is starting to get pretty steep, but I think it's gonna be doable. Yeah, so I was up against that red cliff band on the way up and wrapped around. Somehow I completely missed it and went over the wrong hump. But anyway, once you get to this drainage, it is pretty nice. I mean, there's some big boulders and stuff and drop-offs, but it's all easy to step down. And as you can see, it's fairly wide. So you don't have to deal with brush at all. So it's easy walking, it just adds a lot of distance, and it is not easy getting down to this either. I had to go across some steep terrain just to get to this, and maybe I took the wrong route, but anyway, so I took a completely different drainage down, the bigger drainage that you see on the map, rather than sort of the more vertical crack that hugs the red cliffs. But you can go either way if you don't want to deal with a sloshy, bushwhacky mess. Maybe this drainage is your ticket up to the ridge. It's just going down now. You can see it's starting to tame out a little bit. Made it back to the main junction, and now, as promised, gonna walk up this little 300-foot high anthill known as Sugarloaf. I saw it from above. It looks very tiny, and I saw a path all the way up. So that's what we're doing now, so we should be on top in 7 minutes or so. So it does steepen up. I'm just going straight up the rock with your summit up there. So I'm probably already halfway up, I would venture, but it's hot and steep, and I really want some Gatorade. So I did want to note, there is actually like a legit trail up this. When I went up on the rock, I was off trail. I just decided to cut straight up the rock, but there was actually. So like here, you could bend around, presumably more gradually, but I'm taking the use trail straight up. Sugarloaf, and we got a visitor. Sugarloaf Summit, the little anthill of Sedona. I don't know where the true summit is. I'm gonna say right here. seems to drop off every other side, but good views obviously of all the formations, and great view of Witch's Mountain that I was just on, and that ridge that I came down the wrong way, Capitol Butte, Chimney Rock, Wilson Mountain. One of those is the Parthenon, Steamboat Rock, Minton Ridge, Hangover Trail, Snebley Hill Road, the Coconino Plateau, Gibraltar's, I believe it's called Lee Mountain and Munns Mountain. Yeah, look how that looks so tiny compared to Courthouse. It's crazy. And the Seven Warriors. That's a great view with Seven Warriors. All right, and that's gonna wrap up Keyhole Cave, Witch's Mountain, and Sugarloaf. So I note I've done another Sugarloaf. If you want to see a cooler Sugarloaf in Boulder, Utah, check that one out. That was Thanksgiving weekend. The Eagles-Bills game was that day. So car's here. It's hot. I'm gonna go do another trail.